Hi, welcome to the channel for You Did What With Your Wiener. I'm Jessica. This is my new puppy, Otter. This is Brody. He's a guest dog. We dog sit on occasion. This is Summit. She's 5. And you probably can only see the tail end of Gretel. Oh, come here, Gretel. She's 14. And she is the old gal. Anyway, okay, it's a lot. Sorry. I want to do a weekly update as Summit grows and fill everyone in on our progress. I've had some questions from our followers on our other social media channels, so it's just easier to do a video. So, Otter came from Kansas City. He's just turned 9 weeks old. He is a miniature chocolate dapple dachshund. In the video, I'm going to go over, I flew him back. We're in Washington State, flew him back from Kansas City. I'm going to go over how that went, how he's integrating into the pack, what training we've been working on since he came, and potty training is going to be included in there. And then I have 3 tips for you at the end on bringing a puppy home. So, the flight went well. The Kansas City airport isn't as big as SeaTac where we are, so it's kind of easy to navigate. We showed up in plenty of time, and then unfortunately, our flight was delayed for an hour, which is problematic because a puppy, without all of the vaccinations, you're not supposed to just let them on the ground or in the airport potty station and stuff exposed to where other unknown dogs are. And, typically they can only hold their bladder for a couple hours. So that was a bit of a challenge. He did actually end up holding his bladder the whole time, the whole flight, didn't poop or pee in the crate. And he didn't seem distressed about it. He was really quiet on the flight. I'm always worried. I've flown with both Summit and Gretel, always worried about them barking and disrupting other passengers. Although this time there were some crying babies. So any noise he did make was drowned out. But he only fussed a little when we were landing. And I'm pretty sure it was due to air pressure on his ears. But he did really well on the flight. So he was a little champ. As far as integration into the pack, I dachshund sit. So we have dogs coming and going all the time. And, if you're going to do proper introductions with dogs that aren't used to new dogs coming in and out all the time, you would do like a neutral territory out in, not in their yard, not in the house, out in front of the house. Go for a walk together, give some time to sniff each other through a fence before meeting face to face. I did not do any of that, knowing my dogs and just knowing they're kind of go with the flow. I just brought Otter in and put him down on the floor and let them sniff him. So it's only been a little over a week since he's been here, and things are going pretty good. Brody loves him. Brody is only 2, and he is so he's still kind of a puppy himself, and he's very playful and very energetic, and he's been very gentle with Brody's a standard. He's 19 pounds, so he's big, and Otter is very small, and he's been very gentle, but he's been playing with him, and they're just besties already. Unfortunately, Brody's going home in a couple weeks, and then he'll be left with his 2 sisters who are not quite as warmed up to him. Gretel is neutral. Otter's become kind of fascinated with her, and so wanting to sit by her, lay by her, cuddle her. And she tolerates it. She doesn't love it, but she doesn't move away. She rarely growls at him unless he's getting too much. Summit, on the other hand, she's very moody. She's very particular, and it always takes her at least a few days to warm up to new dogs. So we're still working on that. We've had a couple incidents. She can resource guard over food, and there were a couple incidents where they ended up in the same spot where food was, and she snapped at him. So but as you can see, she's close to him right now, and she's not growling, so this is progress. As far as potty training, he's doing pretty good. We, of course, still have some accidents in the house, but I work from home, so I'm able to take him out every 20 minutes, every time he wakes up from a nap, every time he's done eating, every time we get up in the morning, like just all day taking him out. Only once has he kind of been defiant in that usually when I take him out, he'll go potty right away. So if he has an accident, 99% of the time, it's been me not taking him out when he should be or when he's showing signs. But one time he didn't want to be outside and he came back inside and then immediately peed on the floor. So we're, of course, working on that. Training in general, the first week he was here, I just wanted to focus on him settling in and us bonding and learning each other and him getting acclimated. He did surprisingly well. Honestly, he doesn't seem to notice that he's not with his siblings anymore. Now he's like, "Ooh, new dogs." And, with the breeders, he had other dogs to play with also. So I think that helped. He didn't rely solely on his siblings for entertainment. But so we've basically been focusing on potty training, and I've been also doing some separation training. In other words, he's pretty good. He's fairly independent. I can be in the kitchen and he'll be sleeping on the couch. But if he's awake, he kind of wants to be by me. And so I am teaching him. We have a pen that he stays in when I can't supervise him. And so I've been kind of walking into the other room. We have a very tiny house, so he can still hear me and I can pop back in easily. And kind of just rewarding him for being calm and quiet. And, he does cry, but, we're working on that. The big thing I've actually trained him, like obedience wise, is mat training, which some people call place. So when we're in the kitchen, I want him to sit on his mat. All the dogs are supposed to sit on their mat, especially when I'm preparing any food for myself or for them. And he's getting it. He's getting it. I have to work on duration. He'll get on the mat and then he'll get back off. He doesn't quite understand that's where he's supposed to stay. But, he'll back himself up and get on the mat again. And I give him a treat and reward him. And so he knows that's where he gets the good stuff. So he's picking it up. And then I've been teaching him his name. The breeder, I didn't decide on the name until kind of the last week before he came home. So he's pretty new to learning his name. So I'm doing a lot of saying his name and giving him a treat when he looks at me. And then biting, of course. Biting is a thing with puppies, and he's passed out right now. But I have other things, chews and toys to redirect him if he's biting. And I just, we haven't had a big problem, but like hands, I say, ouch, and pull away and give him a toy. Or if he's chewing on cables or, my towel or something, I will say net and I will redirect him to a toy. So that's going pretty good. So as far as tips, this kind of goes with potty training. He has slept with us from the minute he came home. I went through that with Summit as a puppy, and we tried to teach her to sleep in the crate. It wasn't going well. I don't do well when I'm not getting my sleep. And so I just said, screw it. My other dog already sleeps with me. She's going to sleep with us. He kind of did the same thing. The first night he was here, we went to bed probably 11, and he didn't wake up until 3 to go potty. So I took him out, and he only did once that night. It's been hit or miss. The next night he wanted up a couple times. The next couple nights. Last night, if he's busier during the day, he's more tired at night. Last night, we went to bed at about 10, and I had to get up and use the bathroom at almost 5 o'clock, and I got him up to go out and go potty. But he didn't wake me up to go all night. So that's been really great. But the tip is that you need to think ahead about where your puppy is going to sleep. I'm okay with them sleeping in my bed. But if you're ever thinking maybe you're single and you're going to have a boyfriend that doesn't want the dog in the bed, or you change your mind later, I don't know. But if you're not going to commit to them sleeping in your bed all the time, just know that if you need to change that later, it's going to be really difficult to train them once they're in your bed to sleep in a crate. Not every dog, but most dachshunds. So if you ever think you're going to want that, in fact, our breeder recommended the first 6 months, your dachshund should sleep in a crate away from you. Then you can bring them into your bed and sleep with them. But at least they're used to sleeping in the crate and they'll go back out there. But in my case, and if you don't want to do that, you want to just from right away sleep with your dachshund and just worry about what may be later. It is very important to do the separation training because, some people will say, oh, can be a lot of behavioral issues if you let your dachshund sleep in your bed. And it's not about your dachshund sleeping in your bed, in my experience, but it is about how attached they are to you. So, whether that's in your bed or during the day, you need to train them to settle on their own without you and to be away from you. So, if they are going to sleep in your bed starting on day one, it's going to take a little extra effort during the day for that separation training. So you're kind of just trading one for the other. It would be if they were sleeping in a crate, not your bed, you're going to have to go through the crying and the howling and the rewarding and the lack of sleep. Whereas I'm getting my sleep, but during the day, I'm going through the whining and having to reward him for being good. So anyway, second tip is just don't worry about being perfect. I worried so much with her about doing all the right things, training her all the things right away, doing it all perfectly. And I learned a lot with her. So I am more just already at ease this time. This is my second puppy. But also, all the training doesn't have to be done at once. Socialization is probably the most important because between 8 weeks, when you bring them home in 16 weeks, they're like a sponge for socialization, is the most important. But like obedient stuff, dachshunds can learn at any age. You can do that later. Now, I don't suggest doing nothing, start with something like I'm doing the name and the mat, but I haven't even tried to teach them sit or come or anything like that. That will happen starting next week and later. So, it happens when it happens. You can train throughout their lifetime. You can train as you're going about your day versus dedicated training sessions, and just give yourself a break. Raising a puppy is really hard. And you're not going to do it perfectly. There's always going to be things later on where you're like, I should have done that a little differently when they were young, and you learn the lesson, and then hopefully you can correct it later, whatever it is. My third tip, which is the biggest one that changed my life with her, is when I got her, I thought that every time she was awake, I was having to be entertaining her, keeping her busy, keeping her stimulated, and I was like a mom with a new infant. I couldn't shower. I couldn't eat. It's still a challenge now. But I had zero time with her and was stressing out, and I worked for myself, and I wasn't being able to get my work done. So I was in a business mastermind group, and one of the other ladies was a dog trainer. And after listening to me complain about being exhausted, not being able to get anything done for the third time, she gently said, part of raising a puppy is teaching them your routine and teaching them when to settle. If you go to work at 10, you teach your dog that 10 is when they settle down in their crate or a pen and busy themselves with a chew or something like that. And I don't know, I hadn't thought of that. And as soon as I started doing that, my life changed and our relationship changed. And so, like I said, I'm not working on formal training right now too much, but that's what I'm working on really, is teaching him the routine. And by routine, I don't necessarily mean like timestamps. Like at 7:30 we do this, at 10 we do this. It's more like when I do A, you do B. So when I'm in the kitchen, you sit on your mat. When I'm on the floor with the toy, we play. When I'm at my desk with my glasses on, you settle down either on the couch sleeping or in your crate and busy yourself, or you play with the other dog or something. But so the routine is more what your expectations are when you're doing certain things or certain things happen. And so that's been super, super helpful with him. And as you can see, he is very cute and peaceful when he's sleeping. And of course, he's a puppy, so he's bitey. I've been working, that's one of his biggest things. I mean, the two biggest challenges are potty training and biting. So that's really what I'm trying to work on. That's my focus right now. But I'm also, next week, I'm going to start training. I'm going to try and start training come and definitely sit and duration on the mat. So comment below if you have any questions about this video, or like I said, I'm going to do a video every week. So if you want to know, what 6 months is like or something. So I'll keep track of the comments and I can answer them later. And please subscribe like and follow and share our video if you want. I mean, this one's not really shareable, but some of our other videos, that would be appreciated. We're really trying to build our channel. We've had our blog, You Did What With Your Wiener, for 13 years in November, this last November. And we've had a YouTube 10 years, but not really done a lot with it. So I'm trying to really jumping into the video age and embracing video and get it going. So I could really use your support. Thank you very much.